episode 4, which deals with nutrition on the entire C6 syllabus for human and social biology. This is the Study Prep Guys podcast on human and social biology, full course on CSEC, human and social biology prep 2026, May, June, and January. With that said, let's actually start. So, first of all, let's look at the definition of what nutrition is. Nutrition is a process by which living organisms make or create food, say in general. If you were to look at what type of nutrition there is, there are many, like for example, carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. But mainly for this class, we'll take a look at carbohydrates. Carbohydrates include reducing sugars, non-reducing sugars, and starch. They are molecules composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms. The rule of hydrogen atoms, oxygen atoms is always 2 to 1. So that means the ratio between hydrogen atoms, oxygen atoms is usually 2:1. That's why we have H2O. Based on their chemical structure, carbohydrates can be classified into three groups mainly, and that is monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. Monosaccharides are the simplest carbohydrate molecule, meaning that the mono being basic, mono being one. So they have the formula C6H12O6. All monosaccharides are reduced in sugars. So we have something called disaccharides, which are formed, or which are basically two, di being two, are formed by chemically joining two monosaccharides molecules together. They have the formula C12H12O11 or oxygen 11. All disaccharides are reduced in sugars except sucrose, which is a non-reducing sugar. Then we have polysaccharides are formed by joining many monosaccharides molecules into straight or branch change. Polysaccharides include starch, cellulose, and glycogen, animal starch. So these are basically, at least from what you could see on the screen, the types of carbohydrates if we were to look at them from a subatomic level, which is if you were to look at it from the singular monosaccharide molecules to the two monosaccharides, which is basically a disaccharides. We have condensation process, which is a joining molecules with the loss of water, and we have hydrolysis, which is splitting molecules by adding water. So condensation is a joining together of molecules with the loss of water. Hydrolysis is the splitting molecules by adding water. So one is joining and one is actually splitting or actually dividing. So if you were to look at the properties of these different carbohydrates, if you look at, for example, at the carbohydrate, which is reducing agents, or you look at the reduced agents, all of them have a sweet taste, soluble in water, and react with the Benedict solution, meaning that they spread out. And within this part, we'll usually have the glucose, fructose, galactose, maltose, and lactose. And then we have the non-reducing sugars. They have a sweet taste, soluble in water. However, they do not react with the Benedict solution. And this is the only exception, which is the sucrose or a disaccharide. If we look at starch, does not have a sweet taste, meaning that it has sour or very bitter taste, and it's basically insoluble in water, and it reacts with the iodine solution. However, the iodine solution and the Benedict solution, just to note, are totally two different things. So let's look at recognizing carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. So something to note that is very important is that for every different reaction, tests can be actually deduced to identify carbohydrates, protein, and lipids. Apart from the tests for lipids, the tests are usually carried out on about 2 centimeter cube of solution of the test substance, meaning that it's carried out in a test tube. Example of this, just skip that. Just to note, guys, you could just look at that. This is the tests and results, or positive results, that would usually be inclusive if the test is to be successful, or some ways you could actually look at it. I will make a separate video on this here, but you guys could just take a look and tell me what you think about it in the comments below. Let's go on. This is the Benedict solutions, and this is the iodine solutions. As I said before, they're totally two different tests in general. Reducing sugars from an orange red precipitate with Benedict solution, and starch turns iodic solution to black. So you could take that into that consideration. So note, the food and animals eat is called a diet. So something a lot of students probably miss happen is that they get mixed up with what a diet actually is. If you want to make it simpler for yourself, the food an animal eat is called a diet. I want you to when you utilize the term animal, this is both for Homo sapiens, which is humans, and all creatures on Earth. It's a more unilateral term, that it actually subdivides into all categories of humans and all categories of animals, because humans in basic try basic sense are animals. Anyways, let's look at the definition, and this is the last piece of note that we have on nutrition, which is a balanced diet. So humans consume must consume a balanced diet every day. This could include starch, legumes. It could also include fruits, vegetables, fats, and oils, and staples and food from animals. All of these are necessary in order for the human being to survive and actually have a healthy lifestyle and healthy body. All of the following on the table, or at least on the circular table there, are vital for the human being to actually maintain proper proportions, supply the food with enough energy for daily activities, and the correct materials for growth and development. With that said, the source for this is the Concise Revision course. This is the new edited Collins version of the CSEC Human and Social Biology syllabus. So you guys could know that you're getting the information from the right source. This source is only explanatory. It could also be unilaterally for other students of other categories, including SCT and other sections, but this is purely for CSEC students. It could be utilized for other students, but for the moment, it's mainly CSEC. Anyways, guys, see you in the next video. All the best.